Hello, my name is Mike Valente. I'm faculty here at the Richard Ivey School of Business. I have the distinct pleasure of speaking with Doug Burgoyne, who's the CEO and founder of FROGBOX and an MBA alumnus here at Ivey. So welcome, Doug.
Thanks, Mike.
I just had a few questions for you. I wanted to start off with what encouraged you from switching from being a strategy consultant for TELUS and maybe following the typical career path of a graduate to going into a sustainable, environmentally sustainable business model?
Yeah, great question. For me, I always knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always knew I wanted to start a company. I don't have the typical sort of, I didn't have the ability just to jump right in. I'm much more conservative and analytical than that. So for me, in my career, what I tried to do is to get the skills I needed the skills I thought would make me successful as an entrepreneur. So that's where I got into the sales and marketing and tried to get some finance background and get some strategy background. And then at a certain point, when I felt like I had the skills needed, I felt like I'd found the opportunity that was going to be worth my while. And actually another piece was finding the correct partner to go into business with. That's when I really decided to make the jump. So it was a few years after Ivey, but I'd always sort of been aiming for that as a goal.
Yeah. And what did it mean for you personally? Was there a personal ambition to go in this direction in addition to economic opportunity in this area?
Yeah, so personally, I don't thrive well in big bureaucratic areas, and I kind of knew that. So for me personally, it's the ability for me to go out and to sort of build a culture and build a company that I feel like I've had the influence from on the beginning. Personally, as far as financially, obviously going into and starting a business, you take a major pay cut, and personally that was a lot of discussion and planning with my family. And obviously the long-term goal is to be very financially successful. But as you jump into entrepreneurship, a lot of times you have to sort of scale back your pay expectations and just plan for that. And we did. We took our time and planned for that.
Right. Okay. Do you have any advice for students who may be working in a traditional business or wanting to start a business on their own on how to incorporate sustainability into their business without compromising the financial viability of the firm they're in or the business they're thinking of starting?
Definitely. Great question. And it's great coming, back to Ivey and seeing sustainability being a part of the curriculum. I think at the end of the day, though, we're still in business. So the advice I have to people is really learn how to measure both the environmental footprint and the economic consequences of anything you do to make your business more sustainable. Because if you create a business that's much more sustainable, but it can't maintain economic stability and goes out of business, you're not helping anybody. You're not helping yourself, the corporation, or the environment. Whereas what you need to do is measure these things, understand what the environmental impact is, and then make sure it fits with the financial impact. And I do believe there's a huge opportunity to mesh these where you can actually gain financially by being more sustainable. It takes a lot of thought and analysis, but I think it's going to be a huge trend over the next 10 years. I think with the proper forethought and analysis, it can be done.
Mm-hmm. And what about a student perhaps being in a lower level of a larger organization? How can they act as a catalyst for change in an organization to be incorporating more sustainable practices?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of ways to go about it. One is sort of the grassroots, rally your coworkers and do something small that can have an impact, like set up a different recycling program. To make really big changes, I think you need to go after two big groups. It's the marketing group, because I think there's a lot of benefit in sustainability, both internally and externally to your customers, and then finance, because ultimately, these things typically take money up front to pay for, so you've got to get somebody to fund this. So those are the groups you need to go after. And then I'd also throw in there HR. I think companies that are sustainable have a definite advantage over unsustainable companies in hiring. And I think we see more and more young people coming into the workforce who actually care about what their employers do on this front.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, how important is the role of a business graduate in this whole area of sustainability?
It is instrumental. I've seen far too many good businesses that rely solely on the environmental aspect of their business, where what we need in the industry, in the sustainability industry, is really good, analytical, objective business people who can make those hard decisions on what you can and can't do on the sustainability front, and make sure businesses are profitable and make sure they're thriving and not just going out and throwing out sustainability ideas that can't be sustained in the long run. So I think it's instrumental. I think we could really use a lot more good Ivey grads in the sustainability community.
Great. Well, I'm speaking with Doug Burgoyne, CEO and founder of FROGBOX. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.